Hi, welcome to IELTS Pro Tribe. I'm Aaliyah. In today's lesson, we'll look at the previewing and predicting skills in IELTS reading. I've talked about the 7 reading skills in IELTS in the previous lessons. So if you haven't watched this video before, please go back and watch that video first and then this lesson. Okay, in today's class, we have 4 items on the agenda. First, we'll look at how exactly to preview and predict. And I understand it's still a little bit vague, talking about how to preview and predict. So I put some exercise there to help you understand what you should do there. And in the second half of the lesson, we will take this previewing and predicting skill to the next level. Incorporate the text types knowledge with these skills so that you can have a better understanding of the passage and answer more questions correctly. And of course, after that, we'll look at some exercise as well. Okay, before I start with the detail of how to predict and preview, I want to share with you guys a quote from this book called Developing Reading Skills in Cambridge University Press. Reading is a constant process of guessing, and what one brings to the text is often more important than what one finds in it. This is why, from the very beginning, the students should learn to use what they know to understand unknown elements, whether these are ideas or simple words. Okay, let's start the lesson. How to preview and predict. When we look at the text for the first time, we should start with the title, subtitle, and some illustrations such as picture. Start reading those things first, and using the information from the title to guess what the topic of the text. And we are really trying to ask ourselves 2 questions in this previewing phase. First question is, what do I already know about this topic? Use the information you already know about this topic. So for example, you might have learned about this in science class, or you have read about it in a newspaper. Use all those information you already have about the topic. And the second question you should ask yourself is, what this text may talk about. Will it be a historical account? Will this be a report, or will this be a research paper? These are the 2 questions we're trying to ask ourselves when we are previewing. Okay, for demonstration, let's look at an exercise. Let's look at exercise 1. Let's try using these previewing skills. Below are 6 headings and 6 summaries of the articles to which they belong. Read each headline and think about what the article might be about. Match the headlines with the summaries. Okay, I'm gonna walk you through the first heading. Rural transportation scheme. The transportation system in countryside is usually less developed than the city. Scheme here means plan. So a plan about transportation system. There may be some modification, there may be some improvement. So yeah, I think it matches with this one. The article about a plan to introduce a new transport system in the countryside. Okay, so this is how I use previewing skill to predict what the text is going to talk about. So now please pause this video and take some time to look at these 5 headings, and match them with the summary. Okay, so hopefully you have enough time to read through those headings. So let's take a look at them together. Elephant intelligence. Elephant and animal intelligence. So they may compare elephants with other animals, Intelligence. Let me see. An article comparing the intelligence of elephants with other animals. Great. Next one. Population spread. Spread means it starts from one area and then expand to the rest of the areas. So, but population spread usually takes time. Population spread takes time. Then it might be a historical account involving in several time frames. Maybe, let me take a look. Yes, this one. An article about new ways of studying the history of the spread of people and populations across the world. Great. Okay, next heading. Noise effects. Effects on whom? On human? Noise usually affects human. Affects humans what? Health? Mental health? Physical health? You know, you can't sleep because it's too noisy. You can't study well. You can't concentrate because it's too noisy. Let me see. Yeah, here. An article about how humans are able to adapt to different noise levels. Okay, wonderful. Next one. Using every drop. Every drop of what? Water? Using every drop of water. Sounds like it's warning me to save water. Water is a very valuable natural resource. Let me see. Yes, the importance of water in human history. Okay, last one. The true price of a meal. A meal is food. We possibly know what's the price of food. That's how much we pay in a grocery store or in a restaurant. But what's the true price of a meal? The true price of a meal sounds like it's telling me something the author think I don't know. The true price of a meal involved improved food production, maybe is polluting the environment while producing those food. Let me see. The effect of food production on the environment and human health. Yes, exactly. So this is what happens when you're previewing the headline and making a prediction on the content of the text. Hopefully this can help. And then let's look at one more exercise. Exercise 2. This is actually a heading taken from a Cambridge IELTS test itself. GZJ travel recruitment info. Recruitment means hiring. So I think this is a recruitment advertisement you usually see on a job posting. A travel agency called GZJ Travel Agency is trying to hire a new employee, maybe. So what do you usually see in a job recruiting advertisement? You see the job description. What does this job actually do? Is it a office assistant job or involving in sales representative? So all those information should be there. And also, they would list some of the requirements for doing this job. Requirement for educational background, and requirement for schedule, and what does it pay? How much does it pay? You know, whether it's a full-time job or a part-time job. Those are the information usually appear on the job recruiting information. So after reading the title, you will have a general idea of what this text is talking about and what information there may be. Now let's look at the full text. Another example. Hilton Laboratory, health and safety in the workplace. Health and safety in the workplace. Well, it looks like it's a post. It's a general post from this laboratory called Hilton Laboratory, and then health and safety in the workplace. So this post is for the employees there, and warning them what they should do to protect themselves for safety and their health. Let's look at some subtitles here, some subheadings. Personal safety, how to dispose of rubbish safely, how to handle heavy object, staying alert. Okay, so this information is very well organized. So if the questions after the article is asking you what equipment should you use when you're trying to lift an object, then you probably would know, okay, this passage should contain this information here. So using the previewing and predicting skill will give you an idea of where to find specific information, because now you have an idea of the skeleton of this article. So that's the first way to use previewing and predicting skill. Now let's take this skill to the next level. What I mean is that Here we need to use our knowledge about text types. As we all know, the text in the academic reading test could be from journals, books, magazines, and newspapers. And for section 3 of the general reading test, the text could come from the text source could be newspapers, magazines, fictional or non-fictional book extracts. And all those different types of text, they organize information in a different way. So knowing how they organize information, as well as using the previewing and predicting skill, would really help you to locate specific information. If you can recognize which type of text you're going to read, you'll have an easier time going through the passage and find your way through the text and locate the answers to each questions easier. Okay. Let's take a look at the 4 types of article. First, newspaper article. A newspaper article is written for a general audience and may have short paragraphs, simple structures, and informational language. The writer will want to encourage readers to read it, so it may start with an amusing headline or question that interests them. The question will tell readers what this article is going to talk about. The second type of text is report. Report is a formal text and may contain complex grammatical forms and statistics. It may be organized so that each paragraph deals with a certain aspect of the topic. And we also have historical account. Remember, I predict that the population spread title could be a historical account. Historical account article usually organize information in a chronological order. Chronological order means that it will be organized in the order that it happens through time. And also there are a type of IELTS texts that describe a process. In description of process will probably contain a lot of passive structures, and information will be organized according to the different stages. So let's take a look at how to use information about text types and as well as previewing skills in IELTS reading. We have a few examples here. First is this passage, the life and work of Marie Curie. Marie Curie is a scientist. Here is her picture, I believe. Life and work. Sounds like a biography. Biography should tell what happens in her life, her academic achievement, her work. So yeah, I'm right. See, born when, from childhood, and then probably teenage lives, and then she goes to school, and then her scientific discoveries. Let's take a look. Yes, see, start from childhood. See, happened in a chronological order. 1891, 1896, and see, led to the discovery of a new element. So this is what happens when you're using previewing and predicting skills as well as your knowledge about text types. You will have a better understanding of what information contains in this passage and what order is it organized. And then you will have an easier time to answer the questions. Let's take a look at one more example. Venice in transit. Okay, here's a picture. In June 2004, so the first passage known as the transit of a planet Venus across the face of the sun in 122 years. Transits have helped shape our view of the whole universe, as Heather Copper and Nigel Hembest explains. So the 2 scientists here. So it's about a discovery of a transit, natural phenomenon, and help shape our view of the whole universe. Okay, so it should be a scientific report. This article should be a scientific report. And as I talked about it previously, scientific report, the information should be organized by different paragraphs. And each paragraph is talking about a different aspect of this research. Okay, let's take a look at it in detail. Okay, I think I'm right. On 1st on June 2004, first they talk in paragraph A, they talk about the discovery itself, the natural phenomenon itself, the transit itself. Okay, paragraph B, this distance is known as, okay, AU, transit have explorers and alike from countries. Okay, paragraph B looks like it's talking about the discovery of astronomical unit, AU, astronomical unit, yes. And passage B, let me see. Passage B, AU, and then it's closer to Earth, whose parallel angle would be larger. Using these two would be possible to measure. Okay, then passage 3 looks like it's talking about how the astronomical unit is helping us to shape our view of the whole universe. So different paragraph talks about different aspect of the report. Okay, that's the end of the lesson today. In my mind, the previewing and predicting skill is one of the most important skill in IELTS reading, and possibly as important as scanning and scheming. So in the next class, we'll talk about how to use previewing and predicting skill to answer matching heading questions. So that's it for today's class. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.